So yeah, my nan was just... I don't think I'd ever heard in the entire time that I'd ever known her, I'd never heard a selfish word come out of her mouth. Absolutely beautiful woman she was, absolutely lovely. Nanny Parks her name was, or Irene. And she was absolutely amazing. Her husband died during, not long after World War II. So we're talking, what, 30 years before I even appeared, that she'd just been sitting on her own. And I don't think I'd ever heard her complain once in the entire time. It's like me, if I lost Vicky now, you would never hear me complain. You would never hear me stop complaining for the rest of my life. And she'd never complained once. She sat in her chair, she was lovely. I remember one time I went to Sunday school and I built like a castle or a house or something out of Lego and left it all over the fucking living room floor, which is clearly me being a dickhead. And she came in and she trod on the house, which is clearly my fault. I should not be leaving. I was only like 7 or 8 or something, but I left it all over the floor. And she could have fucking gone arse over tit and broke her leg or something. But when she picked me up from Sunday school, she was like, I'm really, really, please don't hate me. I've got something to tell you and please don't hate me. And I was like, what is it, Nan? And she said, oh, trod on your Lego. Please don't be angry with me. And, you know, if it was me, and this is like a 60-year-old, 70-year-old woman, if it was me and it was anyone, even if it was my kid or Vicky or anyone who'd left a load of Lego over the floor, and I walked in the room and fucking gone miles over it, I wouldn't be thinking, please don't be angry with me. Please, oh God, I've buggered up his Lego castle. I'd be thinking, that fucking twat. I come in here and what did he fucking kill myself over his stupid fucking Lego? And that just shows the difference in people. And I'm not that type of person. Even me, I try and be as good person as I can, but my first reaction to anything is anger. And I don't know whether that's my personality or whether that's just that symbolises how life is. How everything seems to, how shit I'm not appreciative of everything. So that's a nice story. That just sums her up to a T. But she was beautiful. Never never had a bad word to say about anyone. She trusted in God, and regardless of whether God is or isn't real, she trusted in Him. That's all that matters. Her husband was in a better place. She was happy to have my dad, her son, to have grandchildren. Happy to have the sunshine in, she's just an amazing woman. And I don't think there's anyone out there who wouldn't want to be like that. It's something we could all live to be. So, the reason I brought this up was, other than I wanted to tell the world about how ace Nanny Parks was, when I was very, very into the ketamine and really, really like I started having conversations with God, or what I thought was God, and I started getting very, very spiritual to the point where I felt like I could feel God talk to me. And if you go onto Wiki or any kind of website which talks about ketamine and stuff like that, they will all say a user will feel like he's having conversations with God. But considering ketamine is just a horse tranquilizer that makes horses and humans in hospitals go, you know, not feel pain, go to sleep, and feel like you're drifting off into sleep, where do these conversations from God come from? Do they come from your own psyche, or the same as what dreams do? Because I always wonder what dreams come from. Or do they come from an actual thing or feeling that's there? And this is what, because drugs have also thought to me, it's like a key. And then this is what I struggle with, because I don't know the truth. Obviously I know the truth that I was off my head on ketamine, and but that's the thing, no, I don't know that. I know I was off my head on ketamine, I know that it wasn't the truth in that sense, but I know there's only two options that it could be. Either one, I've constructed a conversation with God from my own psyche and mind, or secondly, I actually have connected to something, whether it's God or some, or how we perceive a God or whatever. I've connected to something, because it was never proper conversations. But it didn't change the fact that sometimes I'd be sitting. I used to have a flat, and I had this like skylight in my room, and I could sit there in the summer and literally sniff loads of ketamine, and I could look up at this blue sky and really try and connect to things. And it felt like there was this just like trickle of absolute, like, imagine all the goodness in the world that you could ever imagine. I imagine that just condensed into one little teardrop dripping down your chest. It sounds insane, but that's the only way I can think to describe it. And I felt it, and at that moment I felt loved, connected, and like I had connected with some divine creator. And from that point on, I felt that every week or so whenever I did it. And I felt that God couldn't, because I was so cynical, God couldn't connect to me just through me being sober, because I had like, and also my friend Rich Martin was getting back into being Christian, and he used to speak to me a lot about God. And he didn't do drugs. He used to feel what he thought, he felt it genuinely. But I've always felt I'm far too cynical to feel that type of stuff, naturally. But I felt the reason was that God couldn't connect to me when I was sober. Even though drugs are bad, he could only connect to me when I was off my head, because it opened like a pathway, a door. And for about a year, 2 years, I always felt that feeling from, and I got quite spiritual, and I was telling my parents, I think there is a God. And there was one time where I was thinking about my nan, the one I've just been talking about, and I felt like I spoke to her, and she said it's okay, and I'm here. And so when I'm doing the one thing, and at this point as well, this is a very big point to mention, my parents had found out that I was doing ketamine, friends were saying I was doing it too much, and I think I'd fucked off a job because of it as well, because I'd, not working and everything shit when you could be, chatting with the fucking gods. The whole world seemed to be against me, but whenever I took this drug, I connected with a divine presence who said I was something really special. I connected with my nan. I listened to music like I'd never listened to before. I was listening to Christian music like Carrie Job and stuff, and it was just absolutely amazing. And I had such I've got nothing but fondness for those times at all, even though everyone was telling me, you're wrong, you're fucking your life up. I got nothing but fondness when I remember how I felt at those times. And now, since I don't do ketamine anymore, I said, before I stopped doing ketamine, I prayed to God and I said, if you're really, really true and real, I'm going to try and be a better person now. And I'm going to give up ketamine, and I'm just going to be sober, and I'm going to try and, I'm getting old, I want to be better. So please, 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 I'm going to need your strength. Please be there for me when I become sober, so you can prove to me you do exist, and prove to me that I don't need drugs to be happy, and I don't need drugs to prove that there is something there that will guide me. And funnily enough, since I've stopped doing ketamine, I've never had one peep out of any God or any noun. Never had nothing back ever again. The second that I stopped doing drugs, all communications were shut off, if there ever were any at all. And I've been completely spiritually alone for the past 3 years. And that's something I've got to deal with every day. Nothing. Oh no, but yeah, sorry, the odd time I've done ketamine, like a couple of times, like I bought one for a weekend, and then 6 months later I've bought another couple of grams for a weekend. we're talking very sporadic periods. We're talking like, I've done it like 4 times since I've given up in 3 years. Whereas I used to do like every day. And every single time, the second I take them, I'm instantly feeling spiritually connected. So yeah, I'm completely alone spiritually. After feeling that for 2 years. And I've tried to explain this to my parents, to my missus, to other people, and they basically just have a go at me. And say I need to grow up, and apparently I don't love my parents or my missus enough if I'm not bothered about worrying about something that doesn't even exist. Well, yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's the serious part, and it's just something I want to get off my chest. So I think a lot of people can relate to that. Because I am still here, I am still trying to be sober. The fact that I don't like the fact that I've given up drugs, and that it's too easy to just get pissed. Which I will happily go on the record to say it's got fucking nothing spiritual about it whatsoever. In my ideal world, I would happily not touch 1 drop of alcohol for the rest of my life, and perhaps twice a year do a bit of ketamine, something like that, and that's fine. So yeah, make of that what you will. I don't want it to all be doom and gloom, because this is years ago, but I'm just talking how I feel and getting off my chest. Sure, I'll talk about it more in the future, but I'll finish with saying my nan was a fucking legend, and you couldn't ask for a better person to model yourself on.